Every year, the NBA features a reasonable number of players that look to prove they still belong in the league and can have a positive impact on any team that's willing to take a chance on them. To name a couple of such examples, you just need to look at the season Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony had. However, while most of the attention was on the two former superstars, the Lakers also had a few people working on their comeback seasons. LeBron James made sure to let everyone know this was his revenge season, but others inside the organization were looking to revive their careers rather than proving their game was still at the top. Among these people, perhaps none had a reputation as damaged as Dwight Howard, but the big man made the most out of the chance Los Angeles gave him and now is looking like one of the best role players for a championship team. Welcome to Courtside. Today, we'll talk about how his time with the Lakers has helped Howard save his career and make him look like a brand new player. Some might not remember this, and others may not even know about it at all, but there was a time when Dwight was in the conversation for the best player in the league and was regarded as the unquestioned best center in basketball. His NBA career started back in 2004 when the Orlando Magic selected him with the first pick in the draft, and he quickly made a name for himself by becoming the youngest player to average a double-double for a full season, as well as the youngest to post a 20-point, 20-rebound game. By his third season, he was named as an All-Star and received All-NBA third-team honors after guiding his team back into the playoffs. He followed that up with an incredible performance in the 2008 Slam Dunk Contest and led the Magic to their best season in over a decade. During the next few years, Howard would turn into one of the most dominant forces in the league on both ends of the court as he became the first player to win 3 consecutive Defensive Player of the Year awards, and the Magic were continuously among the best teams in the league. In 2009, he guided Orlando to their second ever NBA Finals appearance and did it as the driving force behind the only team that's been able to defeat LeBron James-led team in the conference finals to date. The Magic would eventually lose the championship series against the Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games, but the center was able to help them secure their first finals win, and after watching Kobe Bryant and company celebrate on his team's court, promised to himself that if he ever had the chance to return to the finals, he would do whatever was asked for him to help his team win. He continued dominating in the 3 following years, but his team wouldn't make it back to the finals, which led him to ask for a trade during the 2011-12 season, and then again once the season ended. By that time, Howard had already taken a few hits to his reputation. There was a moment in particular when he dismissed reports about him wanting Stan Van Gundy out of the team, despite the coach having declared shortly before that the reports were true. But things were about to get worse for him, not only reputation-wise, but also on the court. After being traded to the Lakers in the summer of 2012, there was a lot of excitement surrounding the team's collection of all-star talents that included him, Bryant, Steve Nash, and Paul Gasol. The move was expected to make LA one of the most dominating teams ever. However, injuries limited their time together, and there were multiple occasions in which it was reported that Bryant and Howard did not get along, which seemingly hurt the team's play. In the end, LA would be swept out of the playoffs by the San Antonio Spurs, and despite saying he would make it up to the Lakers fans, the center decided to reject the max contract offer to instead partner with James Harden and the Houston Rockets. Dwight had 3 solid seasons with the Rockets when it comes to his stats, but his team was unable to make it past the conference finals, and by his third year together, there were many reports about him and Harden not being on the same page. From that moment forward, the former All-Star became a journeyman as he bounced around 5 different teams in only 3 years before being waived by the Memphis Grizzlies in the summer of 2019. Except for his injury-shortened season with the Wizards, he continued posting good numbers in points and rebounds per game and was a physical presence on defense. But the rumors about him being a bad teammate kept coming and hurting his reputation. After being traded away from both the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets, it was reported that his former teammates were happy to see him go. Brendan Haywood even said that the players in Charlotte were sick and tired of his act. Multiple sites described that Howard had damaged the relationship between himself and the Magic, Lakers, and Rockets well before leaving each team, and that he was probably one of the least popular players in the NBA. He developed a reputation as a locker room cancer and as a player that would often get angry if he didn't receive the ball as much as he wanted it. And the fact that he was always smiling in front of the cameras and saying that everything was good despite what was being reported made him look like a hypocritical person to some. So despite still being able to make solid contributions on the floor, his reputation limited him from being able to join a new team after being waived by the Grizzlies, and his NBA career seemed to be all but over during the 2019 offseason. But then, he would receive a second chance from an unexpected source. The Lakers were expecting former All-Star DeMarcus Cousins to be their starting center during the 2019-2020 season, but after he tore his ACL, they were forced to look for another big man before the season started. At the moment, Joakim Noah looked like the best available option. However, the team decided to interview Howard on multiple occasions, and the center ensured that he would play in any role the team required from him and would not cause any problems in the locker room. To prove that he was being serious about his desire to play for the Lakers, he proposed them to give him a non-guaranteed contract, which would give them the option to release him if they felt that Dwight was hurting the team. Therefore, both parts reached an agreement as the center was set to join the purple and gold for a second run with the team following his shortcomings in 2013. But things would be much different for him this time around. No longer considered as one of the best players in the league, the Lakers expected him to be a solid role player that could deliver good minutes off the bench as well as a physical defensive presence whenever it was needed. And to the surprise of many, Howard delivered. The team distributed the minutes at the center position between him and JaVale McGee, and he came off the bench in all but 2 of the 69 games in which he played, while also averaging a career low in minutes per game. And while the old Dwight would probably have complained about his minutes or his touches, the newer version of himself embraced his reduced role and was happy to help his team win games, even if he wasn't receiving any credit for it. He would often be seen during games cheering his teammates from the bench and also provided mentorship for Kyle Kuzma and how to become a better defensive player. All this while also setting screens, rolling to the basket, and making the dirty work on the boards. His transformation as a player not only helped his team succeed, but also garnered praise from those around him. On multiple occasions, his coaches and teammates have talked about how important his role is for them and how good he is with it. And his impact has been more appreciated than ever during the Lakers' playoff run in the bubble. At first, Howard was hesitant to join the team following the death of the mother of one of his sons because of coronavirus, as well as the protests that were taking place at the time claiming social justice. But in the end, he decided to participate in the season's conclusion, and his effort as a role player, as well as his attitude, have helped his team reach the NBA Finals. During the second round of the playoffs, the Lakers were matched against the Rockets, and their super small ball play forced LA to play smaller, essentially leaving Howard and McGee out of the rotation at one point. Despite being frustrated, he faced the situation with the best possible attitude by becoming a great cheerleader off the bench. When asked about what he was feeling regarding the on-court situation, he was honest and said that it was difficult for him not to be able to play, and also mentioned how difficult life inside the bubble was for him. But he closed out by saying that his final goal was to win a championship, and that if what was needed from him was to remain on the bench, he was going to make his best effort by cheering and clapping for his teammates, while also remaining ready if his name was ever called. Then, he received a golden opportunity to prove he was more than just a cheerleader in the following series. In the conference finals against the Denver Nuggets, the Lakers were able to play with their regular rotation, but needed something more than what McGee could provide to try to stop Nikola Jokic. So, Coach Vogel decided to give Howard the start in games 4 and 5, and the center delivered by limiting Jokic on offense and getting him into foul trouble, forcing the Nuggets to play some stretches without their best player. He also made a great contribution to the rest of the game by posting a double-double in Game 4 and playing 35 minutes in Game 5 as the Lakers closed the series out to secure a spot in the finals. Now, as the season reaches its final weeks, Howard will look to keep helping his team in any necessary way, whether that's on the floor or the bench. And if everything goes as they expect it to, his redemption season will conclude with his first championship, with the same franchise with which he was supposed to win a title back in 2013. And curiously, he might win it all in Orlando, the place where it all started for him. All in all, Dwight's career changed drastically throughout the 2010s. After being considered by some as a player that was better than LeBron James, injuries and problems accepting roles other than that of a star put his career on peril and earned him one of the worst reputations in the NBA. But after a year of embracing a reduced role, he's shown that he's still capable of being a solid piece for any team, even one with championship aspirations, and has turned himself into a beloved teammate, something that should help him remain in the league for as long as his body resists the grind of playing. But now, how do you feel about Howard's comeback? Do you think he'll leave the bubble as a champion? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. Because we are Courtside.